Okay, so we have the basic shape of the truss, and right now we will try to make internal columns inside the truss. So how there is of course a lot of ways to do it, but I will just show you once, which I think it's pretty the most educational. I will use the split option, and I will split by parameter. And what you see right now, it's a curve split by parameter node, then which I can connect with the line, and nothing has appeared because he generally split the and create two curves, two lines, but they are the same, exactly the same as the one big one, so you don't see anything. To highlight, for example, the end node of this curves, just type endpoint and then connect the curve with which you created with endpoint option, and you will see that 2 points has been created. You see one, but the second one has been created here. If I type sphere one more time, just to make it visible, you see that two endpoint has been created. Instead of using endpoint, you could use start point of the curve, and you would then see that it's created two start points on the left side. Okay, endpoints will be enough, but I would like to have more than just two divisions. I would like to have several of them. So I have to create a list of parameters which are changing from 0 to 1, and then I would like to have, for example, 10 of them. I am just creating a list. If you want to see, sometimes it's very nice to see what you are producing. So there is an option to see the output of every of the nodes. You have to type look for the watch node, and then if I connect it, you see exactly what is inside. Exactly, it's like that. This is exactly the same what is here in the bottom, but sometimes this bottom is just hiding geometry, which is not very practical. So I always prefer to use watch. Okay, let's make another splitting on the top side, top beam. So let's just copy paste and make the nodes on the top beam. Right now we have the points on the bottom and top, and let's create an internal columns. So we type line. I start and endpoint one more time, and let's connect the bottom beam points with the top beam points. As you can see, we create several internal columns. Let's call it internal columns. But one thing, we create a little bit too much of these columns because one is overlapping with the previous defined truss columns, which is here. And also this internal column have this column. So we can get out of this. It's rather drop item and not maybe drop faster is I think cool. Remove item at index. So he will remove from the list of the which I will just show you what this node is doing. If I connect here, I have 9 elements, and I want to get out of the last one. So what I have to do, it's I have to connect a list to this list remove and find the index. Of course, we are talking about the last index. How to find the last index? There is an tool which is called count. just counting how many elements is in the list, and we can see that there is a 9, but the index which we want to get rid of, it's 8. So we have to just minus 1 from this count. It's a little bit tricky and long, but I will just show you that once we do it, I will just code block and create like that, and the output is 8, and then we can connect. And right now the lists consist only the internal columns, so we can, this one, it's internal columns. I will just press columns to differentiate it from this one. But this one, this action, we can close into a nice note. How to do it? We are just marking 3 of these blocks. Right click on the mouse and new node from the selection. Then we are calling it cool last item. Cool last item, and its description we can call it deleting last item from the list. Oh, sorry, it's not calling last item, it's finding last item index. Marked one more. And then we can choose the category for this. I think the category for it will be with, we can put it to the core category and click OK. And then we have finding last item index. Then next time we will have to use it. It's just enough to click finding last item index, and this is already working fine. So we have this number 8, which is the index of the last item in the list. Okay, let's just check if the truss generator is working properly. Let's change the number of the divisions to some variable, and let's make some integer slider. We're gonna connect, and we see that everything's work fine. The truss is reacting on the change of the divisions. The divisions in the number of the divisions. If we just double left click, we can change the name to call it number columns or number of the divisions. Then we can go with this to the front, and also we can check if the geometry is reacting properly on the changing of the base point. You see that when we are changing the z coordinate, it's working fine, but we would like to maybe just elongate the truss, and let's see if it's gonna be, yeah, it's smaller and now it's big. So everything is working fine. Okay.